Perfect. Well, welcome to class. We have officially started, and thanks, Ken, for joining us. I was worried I was going to have to do the class by myself, but not a problem if I did have to. Sorry, my throat's a little sore today. I keep coughing, so I do have something in my mouth if I don't sound perfect. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about making requests. Now, Ken, when do you think we would make a request for something?
For example, could you pass me the salt?
Okay, yes,
So,
that's true.
yeah, I think, or how can I say? Maybe daily from the daily life to more bigger. How can I say? More serious issues.
Okay, okay, so what kind of serious issues?
Mhm. Right.
Maybe, for example, with all of the natural disasters happening all over the world, those countries make a request to others, say, please help us, we need help.
Right.
Okay, good. Maybe to make a request in a job, for example, say, I'd like to change departments. Okay, so you can make a request there as well. Okay, anything else that you can think of?
Maybe we also how can I say request a service like calling the waiter or waitress in the restaurants or maybe almost every day I'm requesting something to someone.
Exactly. So good. Well, with that, what I think we should do is go ahead to the presentation that is prepared for today. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Unit 2 and share. Perfect. So it looks like we can see this. So there are some conversation clips here. They're not clips because clips are normally videos, which we don't have any audio, but we are the audio. So,
Okay.
Ken, as long as you're here, I'm going to have you read the first one that says lecturer and student at university. Do you understand the word lecturer?
Yeah, lecturer. Yeah, people who lecture in
Okay,
the
good.
university. Yeah.
Okay, good. Perfect. Well, why don't you go ahead and read just the first example for us, okay?
Okay. Hello. I was hoping you'd be here. I always in the lecture hall. What can I do for you? Well, the last project I'll hand it in.
Okay, good. So there's a couple things that we can look at here. What's the bold part mean? I was hoping you'd be here.
Mhm. Maybe this person expected that 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 person
Okay. So yeah, they're trying to say, oh, I was looking for you or I wanted to see you. And so this is kind of, the introduction to, I'd like to talk to you about something. So I was hoping you'd be here. Good. And lecture hall will be the place that they do lectures, a very big area. And then what is handed in? It says the last project I handed in.
maybe physically handed in the paper or something, or just send the information to them by email or something.
Okay, sure, yeah. That, for example, those are two different ways that we can use handed in. As you said, physically, I hand in something. Now, with digital technology, we can hand in things via email, via Dropbox, via different platforms or media online. Okay?
Yes.
So good. So that's handed in. So perfect. So this is one way that we can kind of say, we can make a request. Okay, so I was hoping you'd be here. Do you think this is formal or informal?
I was hoping you would be here. I think a bit informal.
Okay, and why do you say that?
Um, would I don't know. I would be there. I was hoping you'd be there. You'd be there. Oh, I'm always in the lecture. Maybe neutral. No, yeah. We can. I can use this phrase casually or formally as well.
Okay, I like that. I think this is kind of just an expression that we use.
Right. Mhm.
I think also we could say, I was hoping to see you, which is again a little different, but basically the same idea. With this one, we are using would. I was hoping you would be here. So it's a little bit, I don't want to say nicer, but maybe a tiny bit more formal. But again, it's just something that we say. I think I was hoping to see you would be more informal. Okay,
Mhm.
so good. Any other questions with this example?
Can I do for you? What?
Nothing.
No, yeah, nothing.
Okay, perfect. So let me just go down, and now you can see this one. Why don't you go ahead and we can read mother and son. Would you like to read that, Ken?
Yes. Hi,
Okay,
dear.
perfect.
What are you doing in the kitchen? You're never here. Hey, ma'am. Just wanted to ask you something. You don't mind if I invited Jane for the weekend, do you? Of course not, son. The more the merrier.
Good. So now this part in the bold, just wanted to ask you something. Now we're missing the subject, which would be I just wanted to ask you something, but obviously the person who's talking is the person who wants to ask something. So we don't need the subject in that point. Once you get into, I don't want to say higher level grammar, but just once you experience the English language more, you will find that you don't have to say the subject in all cases. So, for example, I can say, want to read. So that
Yeah,
basically means who you want to read without saying all of those other words. So this is kind of one of those examples. Okay.
Japanese is almost regular to omit subject. It's very common. Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I don't know if it's, I mean, I would say it's 50-50. I would, not even 50-50. I would say 75% of the time you would
Mhm.
normally use a subject, and then maybe 25% you don't have to. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, but I know that we normally do.
Mhm.
Um, but this is one of those cases in which you don't have to. So that's good. And then it says you don't mind if. Now we have mind here. What's the difference between mind and matter?
Mhm.
Typing too fast. Do you know the differences?
Do you don't mind if I mind is you do you care, and matter is more like trouble or problem, maybe problem.
Ah, okay. So you're thinking of maybe there's some kind of matter that there's, okay, like a subject. Well, I was thinking, for example, I don't mind, and it doesn't matter. So I was using matter in the same way as care, basically.
Mhm.
But I can't use I don't matter. Well, I mean, you
Mhm.
technically can, but it's not very nice. But we wouldn't say it, or it doesn't mind. We can't use that. Do you know why?
It doesn't matter. I don't mind. It doesn't matter. Mm, yeah, I know the difference. Maybe would you mind is uh, maybe the mind focus on the mother, the subject, the person.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter
Yeah.
that necessarily mean mother uh, asking the mother's how can I say feeling or some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. So basically, this is when it's mind, it has to go with the subject of the person, and if it's a thing,
Mhm.
if the thing is the subject, then we use matter, basically.
I see.
Okay, so that's good. If you say I don't matter, let me just type this. I don't matter. I'm going to put a sad face because it means that nobody cares about you. Okay, so it's not a very nice thing to say, and it doesn't mind doesn't exist. We can't use that.
Mhm,
It doesn't mind.
mhm.
Perfect. All right, good. So let's see here. Where it says the more the merrier. Have you heard of this expression before? The
Yeah,
more the
Merry
merrier.
Christmas, Merry. Yeah, more. I don't know the phrase, but maybe I can get the meaning. Yeah,
Okay. What do you think it means then?
mother do agree with that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's true. And more the merrier means the more people there are, the better, basically.
right,
And as you said, merry, merry kind of means happy.
mm,
Merry.
right.
So fantastic. Good. Any other questions with this part here? So just wanted to ask you something you don't mind if. And so you don't mind if, we could also say, do you mind if, for example, because when when the son in this case is saying, you don't mind if blah, 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 it kind of means that you know that they don't care, but you're kind of asking, but not really. Does
Mhm.
that make sense?
It may be. I think. How can I say? Would you? You don't mind if I smoke? Was
Mm-hmm.
that's
Exactly. Well, actually, this is, let me just highlight this. This is a question tag.
mhm,
And when we use question tags, the first part of the sentence basically is our opinion. And so, for example, when I say, you don't speak French, do you? What I really think is, I don't think you can speak French. Okay? Um, if I say, you speak French, don't you? Now, I do think that you speak French. So I'm giving my opinion without saying, my opinion is, okay? So in this case, the son is saying, I know she isn't going to care, but I'm going to ask still. So it's a
mhm.
good son. Okay? Any other questions here? Lots of information in these
Yeah,
little.
the word Merry, Merry Christmas, and this phrase, and I think it's not so common word in the daily life speaking.
No, no, I
Okay,
agree with that.
okay.
No, we would use, like you said, Merry Christmas, or we would use this phrase. I would never say, oh, she's a merry person. I would say
Mhm.
she's a happy person. So maybe this was maybe like used more in, I don't know, in the past. But you're
I
right.
see.
Nowadays, it's not very common.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
So moving on. Okay. So now we have what? Let me just move this down. Okay. Okay. So good. So two colleagues at work. So Ken, when you're ready, you can go ahead and read this for us.
Okay. Hey Ben, how you doing? Good, thanks. Uh, thanks, Jamie. Uh, what 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 you doing up this way? Thought you'd switched departments. Yeah, I have about that favor you owe me. Oh yeah.
Okay, good. So it looks a little confusing, this. That question mark before the word Jamie, before the name Jamie, shouldn't be there technically. So yeah. So good. So hey Ben, how are you doing? What is missing here? Doesn't this sound strange? How are you doing?
How are you doing?
Exactly. So again, this is another way, another time in which we can omit words,
Right.
and we obviously understand what they're
Yeah.
talking about. In the
People,
same, yeah.
sorry. People in Georgia always say how you doing, how you doing. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So yeah, they omit a verb also. You change to yeah like son.
Yep.
How you doing?
How ya doing? Exactly. And when we use the slang like that, we don't put the G on the end of the word. We add this apostrophe.
Mhm.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Um,
How about
so
your home state? What is the most common greeting?
I would probably say, "What's up?"
Okay, what's up there? Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
what's up? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Mm,
What's going on? Oh,
I
what's
suppose
going on?
that's.
Oh,
Mhm.
equal to how are you? I see.
Yeah, what's going on is kind of like, what's happening.
Hmm.
What's happening lately these days?
Hmm.
How have you been? How have you, how have how? Oof, I'm not. I can't write today. How have you been? Now this isn't technically correct. But we say how have.
Have you been? Okay.
Exactly. Have you been? Uh-huh. So that's another common one. So good questions. I like those. I have to think about that because I never. I mean, what's going on? I suppose what's going. I mean, how's it going?
Mhm.
How's it going? Yeah. I mean, some people will use dude. What's up, dude? What's up, dude? Did you
Maybe
hear?
what's a bit casual, right?
Well,
But
yeah, and I'm thinking normally when you greet someone, it's going to be a friend or someone like that. So I'm thinking very colloquial here.
mhm, okay.
And that's why you saw how have you been? Basically, first of all, written it's not correct, and second, it's just because we say it so quick. That's how I would write it. So yeah, many different ways.
Okay.
Um, so if we take a look at this little script again,
Mhm.
it says about that favor you owe me. This he's like saying, "Hey, do you remember that favor you owe me?" It's kind of like instead of saying, "Hey, do you remember you owe me a favor? I want to talk about it."
Mhm.
All you have to do is say, about that favor you owe me, or about that money, or about that you owe me.
Mhm.
Um, so, have you heard this before?
No, about the favor you owe me. It is first time for me to hear.
Okay, do you understand it?
About that favor you owe me. Oh yeah. Maybe this. Do you remember my favor or something? I don't know.
Okay, so this, for example, let's say, Ken, we are out to eat, okay?
Mhm.
And you forget your wallet, and so I pay for the food, and you say, well, I owe you a favor. I'll do something for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so in this case, what this person is saying about that favor you owe me. Remember that time you said you owed me a favor? Well, now I want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so this is
Mhm.
what they're talking about here. And again, I think this is just a phrase that we that we say. I don't think there's really anything structurally. I can't think of any structure what this would be about. Well, we do start sentences with prepositions, so that's okay. The favor would be the subject here. You owe me are the people. So yeah. All right, good. Any other questions with that one?
Yeah, I have about. So this person switched the department for another colleague's favor.
No.
Okay.
No, we're not. It's not saying that exactly. They're talking about that's the situation. So, hey, Jamie, what are you doing? This over here, basically. I thought you'd changed departments. I thought you were in a different part of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And so he says, yeah, I have. I did change. But basically, this person is here to talk about the favor.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't work in the area anymore, but the only reason they're there is because they want to talk about that favor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So good. And can you tell me a synonym for the word colleagues?
Co-workers.
Good. Yep. Co-workers is perfect. All right. Good. So with that, why don't we go ahead and we will go down to this in about two friends. All right. So why don't you go ahead and read that for us too? Okay.
Mate, how are you? Haven't seen you in what feels like forever. Matt, it's been like a week. What's wrong with you? Well, a little bird told me you'd be able to help me with something. Oh, is it now? Gone? What is it? Well, my laptop.
Okay. Good. So there's a lot of things in here too that we need to talk about, right? Let's see. So where it says mate, what does that mean?
Friend. Pal.
Exactly. Oh, pal, very good. Yeah, so mate to me is very British English or European English, whatever you want to say. I would never use mate. It's also very Australian.
Yeah, might. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then he says, haven't seen you in what feels like forever. So again, we're eliminating I. I haven't seen you. Okay. So again, this colloquial, we're omitting the subject of the sentence. When what feels like forever, so obviously a very long time, they're exaggerating is the word I'm looking for, exaggerating a little here. And Matt's like, oh yeah, it's only been like a week, more or less. So, what's wrong with you? So when he says, a little bird told me, have you heard of this expression before, Ken?
Yes.
Oh, good. And do you know, can you explain to me what it means?
I think it's a kind of euphemism. So,
okay, for example.
Me, but I think this person needs help from from Matt. So, he or she using this euphemism.
Okay, good. So
to soften the nuance.
I'm sorry?
To soften the nuance.
Okay, yeah, to make it a little bit more smooth maybe as well. So basically this person says, hey, someone told me, a little bird told me. And so you're not like saying, oh yeah, your other friend told me about, so you're not, we say, oh, what is it? Putting someone under the bus? Have you heard that expression
no, what did you say?
Might be a different verb. To put someone under the bus. No, to throw, that's what it is. To throw someone under the bus.
Ooh, it's scary.
Basically, this means tattletaling or to basically, okay, for example, we have three people. We have these two friends. There's Matt, let's say Jason and Tom. Okay, so we have Matt, Jason, and Tom. So maybe Tom and Jason are like best friends. And Tom told Matt something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think how I should do this.
Ah,
Okay, yeah. So Tom and Jason are best friends. They know all their secrets. So Tom goes to Matt and says, "Hey, I have a secret about Jason." And so Tom tells Matt. Well, one day Matt is talking to Jason and says, "Oh yeah, I know this about you," and tells him the secret. And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. How did you know?" "Oh, well, Tom told me." So Matt is throwing Tom under the bus in that moment. He's basically, oh, how do I say this? Blaming him. He's for the situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's why the phrase is scary. Okay.
So yeah, that expression's pretty, like if you imagine that, that's kind of like, what? So good. So to throw someone under the bus is basically to blame them for something. Okay? Blame them for something. All right, good. So what's wrong here? Little bird told me. Okay, so it's basically a little bird told me is someone told me that you would be able to help me with something. So for example, they say, oh yeah, someone told me that you're good at fixing computers, for example. So I think you would be able to help me. And so then they said, oh, did they now? Again, did they now? Yep, no, that's fine. So go on. What does go on mean in this case?
Go on to talk about it. Continue to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm looking. What? Tell me more. Tell me more. Basically. So good. Go on. What is it? And then he goes into the story of, well, you know, my laptop, and so this is where the situation comes out. So very good. Perfect. Any other things here, Ken, that we should talk about before we move on?
No, thank you.
Okay. Oh, here we go. All right, good. So again, two friends again. Can you go ahead and read this, Ken?
Okay. Do you know where Mike is? Sorry, no. Oh, wait a second. Isn't that him? Yes, Mike. Just then, man I wanted to see. Oh, really? What's up?
Good. So just the man I wanted to see. Now there's another one. Before I forget, could you think of a different way that we can say this? Just the man I wanted to see.
You are the man I wanted to see.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's fine.
You are exactly the man I wanted to see.
Yeah, and that works too. Also, we have another phrase. It's speak or speaking. Speak of the devil.
Yeah.
Or speaking of the devil. In this case, it's, you know, I was just talking about this person and then he arrives or something like that. So good. Okay. This ER part is more sorry, no. And granted, it doesn't have to be pronounced perfectly, but yeah, this isn't very complicated. Do you have any questions here?
No.
Okay. All right, good. So again, about making a request, he's like, just the man I wanted to see, you know, just letting him know that you wanted to talk to him and that's why you're there. So it's kind of introducing this idea of the request. Okay? So good. Why don't we go ahead and move? Here we go. All right, we're going to finish the sentences and I'd like you to type them, if possible, in the chat box just so I can make sure that everything is spelled okay. Okay, Ken?
Okay.
All right, so if all of a sudden you tell me, I was hoping you'd be here, how would you continue this sentence?
I was hoping you'd be here. Eh,
Okay, I was hoping you'd be here for singing our favorite song. I'm trying to think. I was hoping you'd be here so we could sing. I like better just because they're using the would, and so they're talking about possibilities. So another modal verb works well. I was hoping you'd be here so we could sing. Yeah. Or to sing our favorite song, for example. For singing actually sounds very translated from Spanish. So I'm kind of surprised that you wrote that. But in this case, not my favorite structure. But a very good example. Okay.
okay.
What about the second one? You don't mind if
Mm,
you don't mind if I started now. I would use the verb in the present.
Not now. If I
Yeah, you
start.
don't because don't is in the present simple tense. So I would
Ah,
just continue with that.
okay.
So good. Yeah, you don't mind if I start now. You don't mind if I sit down, something like that. And like this is like the first part of any kind of question tag. It doesn't have to finish with the do you or have you or anything like that. But normally it's kind of the same general meaning of that. So good. All right. What about number 3? It says about that favor you owe me. How are
Mm,
you going to finish that sentence?
but the favor you owe me. Mm,
Do you need any help?
maybe but that favor of me. I mm,
So it's a little bit more complicated.
okay. Eh, okay.
It's my
No,
um, actually, it's the opposite. About that favor you owe me, it's my treat. No,
okay.
going back to the food situation, when I would say, "Oh no, don't worry about not having your wallet. It's my treat. I'll, invite. Or I'll pay for dinner, for example."
Mm,
And then you come back to me and you say, "About that favor," or no, I'm sorry, I go to you
mhm,
because I paid the first time. So I'll say, "Hey Ken, about that favor you owe me, let's go to dinner on Saturday," and you can have, and then you can pay, for example.
mm. Yeah, okay.
So okay, so I said, "How about that favor you owe me? Let's, and then whatever. Let's go to the park. Let's go get ice cream. I don't know, something."
Mhm.
All right, good. What about a little bird told me? How would
It's
you finish that sentence? You came back to your hometown. Oh, okay, yeah. A little bird told me you
Mhm.
came back to your hometown. I think naturally to me, I would say that you came back to your hometown.
Yes, told me that.
But
Okay.
you don't have to because this is kind of like reported speech. So, someone told me that and to me, that I personally use that, but you don't have to.
Okay.
So good. That's a very good example. What about the last one here, number 5? Just the man I wanted to see.
Mhm.
Here he comes. Okay. Good. And so how would you respond? Let's say this person walks up to you and he's there and you say, "Oh, just the man I wanted to see. Now that you're here,
Mhm.
let's talk about, or we can talk about, or I
Maybe,
wanted to ask you."
mhm. Maybe I ask something to him.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. So, that then your request starts. So very good. Well, perfect. I think you had some good examples here. Why don't we go down? And this is the same thing. Oh, here we go. This is what the fill in the blanks here. So fill in the gaps with the correct sentence to make a request. So, blah, 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 blah. That you have a degree in engineering. I have a problem, you see. So let me go back here. I guess I can. Let me try and copy and paste. Paste. I knew those lines would be there. Just so it'll be easier to see these. I don't have to keep going back and forth. Here we go. About to delete some of these words. One, I did delete that. When I was hoping you'd be here. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're in there. So let me go back down. Okay, so in the first one, what would you put?
Maybe that I was hoping.
And if you need
A
some
little
help,
bird told me.
a little
Oh,
bird told me that you have a degree in engineering. I definitely like that one. I have a problem, you see. All right, good. For number 2, let's see. I have one for you too.
mm, about that favor you owe me.
Okay, yeah, I think that one works. To me, another one works here too. So we'll say, about that favor you owe me, I have one for you too. I think that actually is the best one. And the other one I was thinking I oh no, I just no, 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 no. Sorry, it doesn't work. It's Wednesday. I'm tired today, so tomorrow's a holiday, and all I can think of is getting
Oh,
done with all of my work today, so I have off tomorrow. So, all right, so sorry. So you are correct here. Good. So number 3 says, blah, 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 get off work a little earlier than usual.
mm, you don't mind if I get off?
Exactly. Yet we're missing that I there. And in
Mhm.
this case, we need it just because I don't know if you're asking about just one person, yourself, or the whole team, or who. So, yep, definitely specify that here.
Mhm.
So, good. All right. So, number 4, it says blah, 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 because I wanted to ask you something.
Mhm. Mm, maybe just the man I wanted to see.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mhm.
And this is very common because I wanted to ask you something. Then you go into that request. And the last one, of course, would be, I was hoping you'd be here. I was told that you have good experience with blah, blah, blah.
Mhm. Right.
Okay. So perfect. All right, let's see here. So I have one more slide. It's actually slide 21, if I'm correct. Okay, good. So a little role play here. We can talk about the situation. So you're a boss, your subordinate or helper, maybe assistant, is very lazy, and you are thinking about firing them. You call them to have a private meeting with you where you are going to decide what to do. So basically we have this for the time being, and there's no time like the present, which we actually saw the other day, right, Ken? There's no time like the present?
Mhm. Yeah, like like the present. Maybe there's no time like the present means now it's a time. Now it's a time for something.
Exactly. Now is the best time to talk about this. So good. So Ken, if you were the boss in this situation, you basically were thinking about firing someone, but you're not exactly going to yet. How would you start this conversation? So let's say, you're in your office, this person comes in, they sit down, hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 very good. How do you start this?
Mm, do you have a minute?
Ken? And how would you use those phrases for the time being and there's no time like the present?
Mhm. Eh, there's no time like the present. I I say about this.
Okay. Yeah, or you can say for the time being, why don't you work on something else, maybe in a different department? All right, so for the time being, for, now or temporarily, you can work on something else. Maybe you would fit in a
Mhm.
better area somewhere else.
Mhm.
And there's no time like the present to maybe, do you know step, oops, step up. But you can step up and,
Mhm.
I don't know, do something different or learn a new task or something like that. So to step up means to kind of to take advantage of the situation and do something more important than you normally do.
So
Okay.
step up the career or something.
For example, step up, step up. When my, for example, a personal issue of mine that I had a couple months ago, my father-in-law was in the hospital and couldn't take care of his then 11-year-old son. So my husband stepped up and, took care of the 11-year-old, well, his stepbrother, basically. So,
Mhm.
he stepped up in that situation. So he did something that normally he doesn't have to do, but that it
Mhm.
has more importance
Mhm. Like,
than
okay.
something he would normally do. So he stepped up. It's really difficult to explain that.
Yeah, I
For
thought.
example, there's a. Mhm.
Yeah, I thought it was. It's like it sounds like a step up the career or something, but not.
Sure, yeah, everything when you step up, you go up, obviously. That's why that preposition is in there.
Mhm.
For example, there's a car crash on the side of the street. Um, a person goes over there and steps up in the situation and takes control, says, get out of the car, call an ambulance. So they're
Mhm.
doing something more important than usual.
Mhm.
Just like if you have a step up in your job position, maybe it's a promotion, you're obviously doing something, again, more important
Mhm.
than you were before.
Mhm. Okay.
All right? So good. Perfect. Well, that's basically it for today. I don't have anything else. So what did you think? I mean, have you heard of the majority of these phrases before or not?
Um, most of them are, I didn't.
Okay, well, that's perfect.
Yeah, yeah, good training. Yeah.
Well, it helps with the situations and, seeing them in kind of real life Instead of just like, oh yeah, here are 5 new phrases for you, go use them. And you're like. So I remember when actually in Spanish too, a little bird told me they use that too. And at first, I remember when I first saw it and was like, wow, I didn't know, they have a lot of sayings in Spanish. And yeah, that's definitely one of them. So it's kind of funny to see the same thing in both languages. So yeah,
Yeah,
do you have
yeah.
any of these?
People told me we don't have this type of thing, but euphemism or beat around the bush is very common Japanese speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Well, that's very true. So, yeah, a lot in English as well, and again in Spanish they have a lot. So good. So why don't I stop screen sharing here for a second? We're coming to an end. My next class is going to be on Monday
Okay.
at the normal time. The title is lose or miss, and so those are going to be the 2 focus words that I'm going to work on, just to show the differences, because there are many differences between the 2, even though I know in Spanish, for example, they use the same word. So I know it's quite confusing for the Spanish people, and in general, other people as well, because sometimes, I don't want to say all sometimes, but there are cases in which you're not really sure which one to use, but also I'll talk about other kind of common words that are easily mistaken, that are easy to mistake. I can't even speak anymore, so I definitely need my day off tomorrow. But they're difficult. That are sometimes like bring and take, for example. I know in Spanish is difficult too. So I'm kind of focused on what's difficult for the Spanish people when they learn English, because it could be a similar problem for anyone. So do you understand lose and miss pretty well?
So rules and miss difference. You mean?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I got it. I got the concept. Yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah. So we'll do some other words that are similar to that, like uh, um, I can't spell advice, advice and advise, for example. So similar words
Right.
or similar meanings or something like that. So we'll do a mix, but the main one I want to talk about is the lose and miss. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
So
Yeah.
perfect. Well, that's it for today. So thanks, Kim, for joining again, as always. And we'll be sure to see you on Monday, hopefully. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye.